Hi, this is Steph with Belladonna Dyes, and today we're going to make an asymmetrical tunic with flare sleeves. For this project, I start by turning it inside out, that way the seams are just out of the way, and then I'm going to center the shirt by using the sleeve inside the other sleeve technique. I want this shirt to have symmetry when it's finished. So what I'm doing here is I just tucked one sleeve inside the other sleeve, and I'm lining up all the seams along the underarm and then the shoulder, and then I'm just going to move my way all through the project, lining up all of the seams, the hems, and everything, and trying to smooth out as many wrinkles as possible. That looks pretty good. Everything looks pretty well lined up. So now I just take the front of the shirt and fold it over the back of the shirt, and now the shirt is centered. Next, using a washable marker, I mark out my pattern. And this shirt has a subtle sort of V scoop neck, so I wanted to play off of that when making my pattern. And then once I have it drawn on, I'm just going to pleat along this line, making that line as straight as possible. Now I'm going to secure it by using my tiny baby hair rubber bands. They're just the perfect size for this project. You could also use kite string or even sinew. It really is just a matter of preference. I'm not going for the white line look, so that's why I'm not using the sinew. And I just like to use rubber bands as often as possible because I find them to be quick and easy. So now there's this big flap of fabric. This is the asymmetrical part of it. You can do anything you want. You could continue just making pleats. You could do a scrunch. For this one, I decided I want to make a spiral. So I decided where I want the center of my spiral to be, and I gave it a little pinch. And using the microwave splatter guard and a hemostat, I make my spiral. So I click the hemostat down on the first click. It does not need to be overly tight. You don't want to tear a hole in your fabric, especially with rayon. It can be delicate. Give it a couple of twists, and then with your opposite hand, create the pleats. And go as far as you can with the splatter guard until you just can't go any farther. Unclick the hemostat and gently wiggle it out. Now for this part of it, I'm going to secure it by using my second favorite rubber bands. And I do have a link for everything that I used for tie-dye down below in the description box, so make sure that you check that out. Now it's time for the fun part. We get to add the dye. And for this shirt, I wanted it to be all monochromatic and safe colors, blues. Now in hindsight, all the colors are very similar, so there's not a lot of contrast. Maybe I would do some things differently, but it still turns out to be a really pretty shirt. And that's one thing about tie-dye. With every project that I make, I learn something. I'll either learn that I love it and I'm going to make so many more of those, or areas that I can improve on. And I just have a lot of fun with the entire process. And hopefully by watching my tutorials, like if something doesn't go right, you can also take away from it and not make the same mistake. So I want to reiterate, the shirt turns out beautiful, but this is something that I would change. I would not use glacier blue. There are certain colors of dye that disappear, like hot pink vanishes during an ice dye, and the glacier blue, the robin's egg blue, the, what's the other one? Is it alpine blue? No, ice blue. They're so light that when you do an ice dye, they just kind of vanish. And on an expensive blank like this, you probably don't want to make that mistake. So I wanted to have a really cool, pretty blue in there, like the cool tone blue, to contrast against the darker shades. But I know better, and so I've learned, and I won't do it again. Now I give the project a quick little sprinkle of soda ash for good measure, and then add my ice. And I should also mention that I do have this shirt on a very slight incline. After the ice melted, I came and I checked it, and it had really good saturation, so I just left it alone, and it's recommended that you let it batch for 24 hours after the ice melts. I let the project batch for the full 48 hours. Especially when you're working with blues, they are the last to bond with the natural fibers. So if you want to have true color, you want to let it go for the longest amount of time at 70 degrees or higher, so you get the most vibrancy. So that's why I went for the full 48, because it's still barely 65 degrees. All right, now it's time for the rinse out. And you want to start by using cold water to rinse away any soda ash that might still be reacting within the fabric, and then increase your water up to hot and rinse until the water runs pretty much clear. Yes, even with rayon. You got to do it. You got to get that unbonded dye out of the fabric. From here, I take it to the washing machine, and I usually do 2 hot water cycles using Kirillon, a professional textile detergent. And then I do a third and final hot water cycle using Millsoft, which is a professional fabric softener, and I get both of those from Dharma Trading Company. And I need to mention that whenever you're washing rayon, you want to put it inside of a garment bag. If you tear a hole in it during the washing process or anything like that, Dharma is not going to replace it. Well, here it is, guys. Here's our asymmetrical tunic with a flare sleeve, very slight incline ice dye after it's been washed, air dried, and then ironed, and I think it turned out great. It's very monochromatic. Like I said, I wanted it to be a safe blue shirt. I can envision this with like cute little capri pants and some sandals, maybe a sun hat. It's very calm, and I like it. This is Bella wearing it outdoors, and so this is what it looks like on the body. It's a very soft and flowy shirt, and I really like it a lot. And I give this one 2 thumbs up. This is a shirt that I definitely would buy again. It held up through the whole tie-dye process. I didn't have to make any repairs to the seams. The fabric feels strong. So yeah, I would definitely buy this one again. And there are some things that I would do differently. Maybe not so much of all one color, throw some green in there or whatever. But overall, I think it turned out beautiful, and I'm very happy with it. So what do you guys think? Please leave me some comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, leave a thumbs up, and click the bell and set it to all. That way you get notified of future uploads. And remember, have fun tie-dyeing.